I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story from some time ago. In the Middle Ages, if you were a business person and you wanted to have a loan of money, you had to go to a money lender. And the money lender would loan you the money, and then, of course, you would have to pay it back. There was only a little catch there. If you did not pay it back, they would throw your behind in jail. I mean, it wasn't where now you're getting a few phone calls, from the bill collector. Not in the old days. You didn't pay, you go to jail. Debtor's jail. This businessman was in trouble. He had loaned money, he had loaned more money, and didn't work out. So the money lender stopped by and said, hey, you need to pay me off, and I'm going to give you till the end of the month, but that's it. I've been waiting and waiting, been patient with you, but now it's time to pay up. Then you know what happens if you don't pay, you go to jail. He says, stop by at my house by the end of the month. He says, and by the way, bring your daughter along. Kim says, oh, I know where this story is going. So here, the businessman and his beautiful, lovely, young, sweet daughter, 19 years old, stopped by at the moneylender's house. And the moneylender said to the businessman, well, you have the money for me? And the businessman says, no, I need a little more time. He said, well, I'm sorry, can't give you any more time. He says, but I tell you what. If you let me marry your daughter, I will tear up the papers, we'll forget the whole thing, your family, you don't owe me a thing. Now, of course, this moneylender is ugly and old and mean and all of that, right, in order to make the story go. So they're talking to each other, the young woman and her father, and they say, well, no. So the moneylender sees that this is not going anywhere. He says, I tell you what, let's make this a 50-50 proposition. He says, I have an empty money bag here. He says, and what we'll do is, you see the little pebbles I have in the yard here, nice green pebbles, blue pebbles. What I'll do is we'll take a green pebble and a blue pebble, put them in a money bag, and you, the young lady, gets to pick one of the pebbles. If you pick the green pebble, you're free to go. This is it. We'll tear up the papers, walk out of here. He says, however, if you pick the blue pebble, we'll still tear up the papers, but then she's going to have to marry me. So now the father and daughter huddle, and they say, well, what shall we do? What shall we do? What shall we do? And the young woman says, well, there are really no options. You would go to jail. In those days, a young woman would not work, so there was no way for her to make any money. So she said, let's go for it. The odds are 50-50. So go to the moneylender, say to the moneylender, okay, let's do it. So the moneylender grabs two pebbles and puts them in the bag, and as he's doing that, the young girl whose whole future is at stake notices that he puts in two blue pebbles. So no matter which one she picks, she's going to lose, right? Because the blue means, that's it, you have to marry me. The green was, you go free, right? So let's stop freeze the action now, back to modern time. We'll stop freeze the action here. Logically, what could she do? She go, hey, stop it. You made a mistake. You made a mistake, right? Right. You accidentally made a mistake. You take the wrong ones. Or she could say, well, let's forget the whole deal before I even pick it, because she knew it was going to be a rigged deal, Neither one would do her much good. But because she had been in one of my seminars, she had changed her thinking. What she did is she grabbed one of the pebbles, took it out, and then quickly dropped it in between all the other pebbles that were on the ground. And she said, oops, I'm so sorry, I'm so clumsy, I lost the pebble. However, you know which pebble it was by looking at the remaining one in the bag. Moneylender, of course, had no options, right? He would just say, well, I cheated. He was like, tore up the papers, get him out of there. So, and that is what we got to do. We need to change our thinking, because our current thinking has gotten us to where we are at now. If we want to go beyond that to the next step, we have to change the way we think. So, and that is what we're going to be working on. We're going to change the way we think. How are we going to do that?